Hey everyone, how's it going? Don't see me on YouTube yet. I know there's a little delay, but should be there. Here it goes. So, hope both Mike's and the B Barnes B Hill's doing good. I'll hang on a little bit, see who else jumps on. If I really start talking about anything. Got my first swarm today, but I haven't picked it up yet. I have three of my type trap types at my brother's farm. It's an hour drive from here. It's out in Indiana. And he texted me today that one swarm moved in and scout bees are on another box, and the third box ain't getting much action. So I'm going to go down there Thursday and pick up one, maybe two swarms. Yeah, I didn't make any pre-announcements on this live. I was kind of busy. Well, with Easter and all that, kind of busy. And then my air conditioning went out. I noticed that Saturday got up to 80 degrees and got pretty hot in the house. So I turned on the air conditioner because I was going to have 30 people over for Easter, which I did. And the air conditioner wasn't working. It's only 4 years old. So, hey, Vincent, I thought for sure I wouldn't have any air conditioner problems, but I did. So I got that fixed today. So that was good. And luckily on Easter, it never got that hot. I think it only got up to low 70s. And most people were down in the basement and in my back patio, so it worked out well. First time, 6 traps out, and we'll see what happens. Well, good luck, Mike. I got 12 traps out. 11 of them are my plastic totes I'm going to talk about. And one of them is actually a deep box with like 2 old comb frames in it, and then plastic foundation. And then I've got a empty medium super underneath it. So I like building big swarm traps, catch big swarms, especially these early swarms. Those are usually the big ones. They can be 10 to 15 frames of bees. So, well, let me see how many people are on here. We're up to 11. Hey, James. So I used to use, actually, I started out with the 40-liter boxes that the book tells you about, and everybody tells you about, but that book is wrong. 40 liters will catch you little tree swarms and catch you virgin swarms and nuke swarms. It will not catch you 2 double deeps swarm. It's way too small. All my swarm traps are a minimum 55 liters. Most of them are 60 to 65 liters in size. I think the 19-gallon totes that I use is 55 to 60 liters. I think it's 59 liters, if I remember right. So that's perfect size. I can fit 9 frames across it and have about 6 inches below it. That seems to be a big key, too. The bees seem to like to have future space below the comb to grow. So that's another big thing I like about swarm traps. I like to have at least 8 frames to 10 frames wide, and then good 4 to 6 inches underneath the frames as empty space for them to build comb on. Then if I got a couple old frames, I'll use a little bit of lure, swarm wrestler, swarm commander, lemongrass. They all work well. But I never spray the entrance. I think that's too strong of a smell. and you'll have bees, you'll have swarms that will kind of go in it, but they won't go commit and go inside of it. I'll do the back comb frame with one spray, and I'll spray up by the handle by the lid, a spray, and that's it. Hey, Jonathan. And like I said, I used to have 40-liter boxes, and I used to hang them in trees. Yes, I caught swarms here and there, but not many. Most traps sat empty because I think they're too small, and I don't think trees are the best place. I had a friend some years ago. He has just a small quarter-acre property, and he wanted me to put a swarm trap on his property. I said, sure. And he had one of those whiskey barrels up against his front porch, up about the side of his front porch, and I just stopped my trap right on that whiskey barrel. Well, wouldn't you know it, that first year I caught a swarm. And it was in one of my square boxes that was around 55 liters. And it worked out. And now I have 2 swarms traps there that are my plastic totes that are 59 liters. And I catch 2 swarms there every year now since I've gone to my tote, and I put it by his house. And I never put my traps in the sun. They're always in the shade. So I normally put them on the north side of a house or on the north side of a big tree that will be shading it. I like to put my traps basically 4 to 8 feet off the ground. I'm not big on ladders anymore. If I was younger, a ladder would be no big deal, but trying to carry a swarm of bees in a box or a tote, crawling down the ladder is not the safest thing for any age person. So my brother's farm, he's got a little patio off his big barn, wooden, old, 1950s barn. I'll answer that in a minute, Vincent. And he's got a platform that's probably about 10 feet wide by about 7 or 8 feet deep out from the barn. And I have 2 traps up there, and that's where I catch them. And that's just a small ladder, about 5 steps. It's about 7 feet off the ground. That seems to be a good height. Hey, Russell Koopman. Hey, Mike from I can't even pronounce your name. You bees putting anything in your supers yet? No, not yet. I run a single deep, and then I put a queen excluder, and I put another deep on top. Right now, they're filling up that deep, and I do have put some on my bigger hives, honey in those, but not quite in my super yet. I've just been putting on the supers. The flow is really late this year. Really late. 2 weeks late. Hey, Dean. So I think I will. Hey, Stephen. I think I should be getting honey in the supers probably in the next week to 2 weeks. The black locust trees haven't bloomed yet. The apple tree farm, that's about a half mile away from me. I just drove by it today. It's not blooming yet. That's a couple of my big honey sources. Most of the hardwood trees are just starting to leaf out now. The tulip poplar is just starting to leaf out now. So usually by now, everything's pretty much leafed out and the trees are just starting. So I just now putting supers on my boxes, putting outside my deep, putting supers on. So that's what's going on right now. So right now, if you see my background, all those boxes, I got queen excluder. The queen's down the bottom box with mostly all comb frame, 3 or 4 frames of brood in her, and then empty comb frame and all the broods up atop until it hatches out, and then they start filling it up with honey. And I got a couple supers on my biggest hives, and that's it. Hey Keith. Now Keith's already pulling honey because he's in a hot zone. Yeah, I guess he's pulling honey already. Yeah, just waiting on humidity. So that's cool. But he's a lot farther south than me. So yeah, so everything's looking good. Right now I'm at 29 hives, I believe. Yeah, 28 hives. I took my biggest hive. I actually took the queen, moved her into a 10 frame with 3 frames of brood. She had 12 frames of brood. I took those 3. I took another 2 frames of brood out to help another hive. Then I waited 6 days, destroyed all the queen cells they had in the box, and then I went to that queen and grafted on her. I let those other 6 frames in there, mostly cat brood, and made that my cell builder. And then I did a 30 cell graft last Wednesday, the 16th. Funny thing about it, I did a little test. I needed only about 15, 16 cells this year for my first time. I did 22 cells of my brand new cups. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do 8 of my used cups that I haven't cleaned. I haven't done anything with them. They were just cups that were not ever used. They didn't even have queens in them yet. They had a little bit of wax around the rim and stuff like that. And I found out that I got 22 for 22 on the brand new cups, and I got 0 for 8 on the used cup. So, hey Nancy, hey Pete, hey Morris. So the used cups was a big 0. So I will not try used cups again. I was told used cups don't work, but I think if you boil them, get most of the wax off them, and then bleach them, they'll probably work. But those JB PZ cups I think I can buy 200 of them for like $9-10. So I'm just going to buy new ones and always use new in the first place. So on yesterday, I pulled 22 queens cells. They were capped, so that was 6 days. Well, yeah, they were 9 days old then on the first Monday, and I got them in the incubator right now at 92.5 degrees. So they should emerge out around the 27th to the 28th. Should be right around 15.75 to 16 days. This is the first time I've done this. When I knew I was going to graft on Wednesday, back on Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, before I even went to church, 6 o'clock in the morning, I went out and put a single comb frame right in the center of the brood of the queen. And man, she had a whole circle about this big laid out. And the whole outside was eggs, and the whole inside were 2 to 4 hour old larvae. And it worked perfect. I had so many, I didn't have to search for them. I just went right down the row in the cell, grafting each one of them and placing them in the cups. So that works out really nice. 4 days before grafting, put a comb frame, one that's a little bit older, a little bit harder wax, a little bit darker on a black foundation, right in the center of her brood nest. And she'll go right, even what frame she's on, she'll go right over there and start laying on that brand new frame. So it worked really well. So I get any questions, trying to keep up with all the Found the site for the calculation for walk-away splits. Calculations for what? Okay. Yeah. So what I did is I took that queen away, and after waiting 6 days, waiting another 6 days, that was 12 days that she was away from her bees. So then I went back into that same hive. I took all the remaining brood and all the bees that so they were down in a single box at that time, and she was moved over into a single box. So I took her whole box. She was already up to like 5 frames and had 3 frames of brood already. I moved her to the lower box, put the queen excluder, and then put the packed cell builder that had probably 14, 15 frames of bees in a 10 frame box, and put that on top. That one has a 2 supers on it because that hive's already 20 frames of bees. And it's rocking, and it won't swarm now because they think they swarmed and they got a new queen 12 days later. So that's a good way to do a split and how to keep a hive from swarming and not grow your yard. Keep the same amount of hives. Just take the queen, put her in a nuke for 10 days, then move her back into the hive. Of course, kill all the emergency queen cells that they create, move her back into the hive, and they did their job. They got a new queen, even though it's the old queen. Works great. So, but I requeen. That's why I was actually grafting some of my queens were last year queens, and I'm replacing those queens. And like I said, the virgins will come out probably on the 28th. I'll probably place them into those hives. Take the queen. I'll bank the queens. I'll put them in into a little, in their queen cage. And then I'll take one of my hives that are just doing okay, not a great hive. It's in a double deep. And I'll put a queen excluder on top of that. I'll take one of my feeding shims and put that on top of the queen excluder. And then I'll place the queens on top of that queen excluder. And the bees will take care of feeding the queens that I pull out. Those will be my backup queens just in case I think I'm doing 8 hives. I pinched 2 queens yesterday. So it'll be 9 hives. I'll be replacing queens with the new queens coming out. And there's other queens that come out. I'll make little 2-frame splits off of them to put in my resource hives, and for next year, nukes, winter nukes. That's what I'll do with the rest of the queens. I got one lady, a good friend of mine. She needs a queen. So her queen, I don't know, something happened to her queen. It died. And I'm going to give her a queen when they emerge out and put her hive just for free, a virgin. So that's what's been going on. Just getting ready for the flow and catching swarms. I know there's been like just 4 or 5 swarms so far in the greater Cincinnati area. So it's just this past week, it's really just starting to get swarms. And like I said, I just got one now out of my 12 traps I have out. So I like to use 19-gallon solid color plastic totes. If I had my choice, I'd have plastic 19-gallon totes, but good luck trying to find purple tote. So I go with medium to darker blue tote. If it's a dark blue tote, it's my next favorite to blue. And I try to get the totes that are more square versus the ones that are taller and they slope down. The ones that slope down, you can only fit 7 to 8 frames. Is getting the frames on the end are going in on an angle a little bit. because they taper down too much. So, but there's more of a shorter, fatter, more square 19-gallon tote. And right in the curve, it's 18 and a half inches, I think it is, or 18 and 5/8. I drill half-inch holes in each corner, and I run a dowel pin, half-inch dowel pin through it, and hang my frames on it. Again, on that type of tote, I can run 9 frames, which is perfect. Well, that's nice, Steve Dodge. 2 frames. I got a call on Easter for a swarm just about 5 miles west of me. It was a big swarm too. She sent me a picture of it. It was a box and a half of swarm, probably a 12 to 15 frame swarm. And I had company over, so I couldn't get it. So I called another friend, beekeeper. I lost 7 of his 8 hives, and he went and got the swarm. So I haven't gotten. That's my only call I got. I'm on a phone call list for Central Hamilton County for Cincinnati, Ohio. I've been running this gig for a few years, and I get called. Well, last year I caught probably 12, 15 of my. I think last year I had 9 traps, so I probably caught. Some of them caught. About 4 of them caught. I think I caught 12 traps, 12 hives, 12 swarms out of my traps, and I probably got called for 14, 15 swarms on the west side of Cincinnati where I live for swarms. 2 of them were on sides of houses, and by the time I got in there, they were in the house. So then I called another friend that does do cutouts. I don't do cutouts anymore. That's too much for me, especially with my knee replacement. A lot of times you're kneeling on the ground down low, floor or underneath the windowsill. It is a very commonplace. I'll do tree cutouts. I usually do 1 or 2 of those a year. I did 1 last year. I didn't do any the year before. The year before that, I did 3. So I average 1.5 to 2 a year. A lot of the landscapers around here know who I am, and they give me a call when they cut down a tree. Well, they call me ahead of time, and this way I can cut the tree down, take the whole section out and not knock the hive over. I think on tree cutouts, it's probably about 30% of the time the queen survives. 1 out of 3. But I'll still get a box full of bees to help my honey production. So this swarm I got, I'm picking up Thursday. I might be picking up 2 of them from my brother's place because he said the second box had about 25 scouts in it. He said 20 to 30. So that sounds like that swarm's coming tomorrow. And I'm going to go. He plays golf, 18 holes golf on Wednesday, so he doesn't play on Thursday. So I'm going down on Thursday. And it's supposed to rain late Thursday, so that'll be perfect. I'll go down early, do a little bit of fishing, and he's got almost a 6-acre lake, 5 3/4 acre lake, and do a little fishing, and then the rain will come, and all the 4 field bees will be in the box, and I'll close them up and head on back to my place. Well, I'll put those bees in a box, and then 2 or 3 days later, once they settle down, then depending on my schedule, now I don't work anymore, so I'll pick them up Thursday. Probably on Monday, I'll find her and not take her. I'll leave her in the box, and I'll take 2 or 3 frames of her bees and put them in my honey hives that needs bees, bee population, and just shake them in. Most of them will stay. Some of them will go back, but I'll keep the first couple days. I'll have the hive closed up, so they won't know where they're at. So they're just orient to the location. So if I pick them up Thursday, I'm going to be out of town Saturday. I'll probably do it Sunday. moved a couple frames of bees, and then she'll still have her 4 frames of bees, and I put her in a one of my resource hives, and she'll be a resource hive for me. So I find out what kind of queen she is. And I know she's already a year and a half old, 2 years old, because she swarmed. First year queens, a zero flow queen, so like a summer solstice queen or later, will not or 99% of the time will not swarm the following flow, the following year. That's one reason why I try to replace my queens every year and a half, some in the spring. And I might even replace all my new queens from this spring, this summer solstice, but they'll be my last ones. Depending on how mating success I have. Last year, my mating success was 50%, maybe even less than 50%. It was a really bad year. I'm usually around 65, 70% in the summertime with queens coming back. This time of year, I'm usually 95, almost 100%. I wouldn't say 100%. But if I do 10, like I said, I'm doing 9. If I do 10, I'll get 8 to 9 mated. Maybe 1 won't get mated or 2 at most. But time I get to July, summer solstice queens, grafted queens, it goes down 30%. It gets down to 60%. Like I said, last year, it was lucky to 50%. Then I'll keep those queens forever. That's why I have so many overwintered queens this year. I just didn't have enough new queens to replace every one of my hives. So I do all my splits in end of June. I pull the honey usually on 4th of July weekend because that's when I was off from work. But this year I'll probably pull right around the day the queens are going to be emerging, which I graft in the middle of June. That should be right around July 1st. I'll be pulling all my honey off, and I'll save some of the old queens and put them in my 12 frame. I'll save 12 of the queens, my best ones, and put those in my overwintered queens to sell next year. And then after that, when I graft, I can sell another one at the end of April out of that same box. So I'll do one in March and then do one in April, or early April and one late April. Get 2 rounds in, maybe even a 3rd round in May. So that's usually my game plan there. So I do all my splits early July and set up all my nukes for next year's sales in early July. So I don't do any splitting this time of year. I'll do like I said, I'll pull the queen, wait 10 days and put her back. And let them go to town if they do want to show queen cells. So none of my hives so far has even made any swarm cells. So I got 4 hives, 5 hives that I have to watch really close. So I replaced the queen here, and it'll be this Monday when all the queens will be emerged out by the 28th. I bumped the temperature to 22.5 degrees. That should get me to 15 3/4 to 16th day. The queen should be emerging. So that'll be either late Saturday or late Sunday or Monday morning. All the queens will be emerging. And I just put a fingertip dab of water and the fingertip dab of honey in each of the in each of the queen cell cages for the queen to eat on, just in case she emerges in the middle of the night. And of course, I'm sleeping. I'll get her through to the morning time when I can put her in a cage and a couple worker bees, helper bees, and put her in a hive. It's all ready. So I just now, last 2 days, yesterday mostly, I went in all my hives. Like I said, I pinched a couple queens. I took 7 hives and I made nukes out of them. So that's 9 of them right there. I had a dud queen that I pinched, and it's not doing any good. So I'm going to have 11 to replace altogether. And right now, I had 2 hives. I was quite surprised that I had no queen and had no eggs in it. And actually, that was 2 of the ones that over winter had queens in them, but they lost. Either I killed them. I don't think I did, because I haven't only been in the hives one time, but they killed her. And queen cells, I didn't see any queen cells, so I don't know. I had 2 hives that didn't have queens. Maybe they overwintered that way, or just died during the winter time. And I didn't want them to be laying workers, so they got cells already just to keep them from going into a laying worker hive. So I got 20 hives left in the incubator, and I'll be using 11 of them. So I'll be giving one away. So I have seven extra ones to do something with. I might give them away to my other beekeepers around my neighborhood just to get good genetics, because this hive is one of those second daughter VHS queen, and they are big time chewers. They chew my entrances. They chew everything up. So they're big time biters. So that's it. Hey, Stone River. And anybody else new? Keith? Yeah, I said hi to Keith already. And Nancy, she's not hopping on, I guess. I don't see anybody in the box. So it looks like I'm going solo. Maybe Bob will come early today. I don't know. I don't think he ever showed up last week. Let me check mouse start working. I have to check YouTube or notices on my phone. But yeah, so that was basically my subject. I like using toads. Oh, and also, like I said, I don't put any boxes in trees anymore. I put them on picnic tables, whiskey barrels, chairs, platforms that people have in their yard. Whatever I can find that's 4 to 7 feet off the ground. And I try to put them on the northeast side of structures. I really like barns and sheds. Bees seem to always checking out. Hey, Randy, Barnes and Steve. It seems like they're always checking out structures. So I now have every trap but one. My last trap by a building, a house, or a barn, a shed, or a house. I have one it's a row of bushes, like a fence row, and there's a tree on last 2 years on April 28th. There's been a swarm in that tree. Yeah, I don't know. There's probably, 100 acres, 60 acres, 60 to 100 acres. It's not all in one square. Kind of runs through a couple big creek valleys behind them. And Devil's Backbone is the name of the street that runs behind them. And just by that name, you can see how hilly it is. There's a lot of woods back there, and the woods have never been harvested. There's huge trees in that. And I think they're all feral hives. And this one hive swarms on April 28th every year. It's pretty consistent. Since he's lived there, he's had a swarm in that tree. And it's always the same day, April 28th. So that must be the size of the tree hollow. So that one I don't. That one I only have sitting on an old stump that he cut down. So it's only 2 feet, 3 feet off the ground. But his drain for his gutters run out through there. So it's a wet source. And there's bees going there getting drinks all the time. In fact, there was bees there. My trap's about 3 feet away in the north side of that tree in the shade. You have to put your trap in the sun. Put a piece of wood or something over the top of the trap so it's in the shade. Yeah, I know it is. Let me post it. Yeah, you're right. I forgot to post it. I've been so busy talking, and now I have to remember how to pin it. I know there's a way. I have to find those 3 dots. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Oh. Now let me get it on top. So how do I post it on top? I did it yesterday real easily last week. There's the way. Let me find it. Nope, that's not it. Not the layout. Oh man, I found it so easy the last 2 weeks, and now I can't find it. It's probably over here. Well. Well, I forget how to post it. I have to write down notes. Use a timeout. No. Oh gosh. I don't remember. Getting old, don't remember anymore. Oh, here comes Nancy. Hey, Nancy.
Hello. So go to the 3 dots over on YouTube, and,
Yeah,
and right click, and you'll see post to top.
Yeah, I don't see it this time.
And you're on the link comment. You're on the link the one that you just put in. There's 3 little dots right on the side there.
Yeah, that's it. I knew it was easy.
Pinned to top.
I got it pinned.
Pinned to
Thank
top.
you.
All right.
Yeah, it's like I knew it was 3 dots, but I couldn't find the right 3 dots.
So Louis was just laying upside down in my lap, and I was trying to get him to stay there long enough for Spillman to see my poodle. What he's got a beagle on his lap right now, I'm sure, and I had a poodle, but now Louis took off.
Okay. Yeah, and I forgot to post the link. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, I was sitting here just listening to you, and then I'm thinking, oh, he doesn't even have the link on there.
No, guess I didn't want anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's always welcome to hop on.
So I have a funny story. Well, I'm going to be on tomorrow night. I'm down to like every other Wednesday. I think kind of works for me. Every Wednesday is just too much, but every other Wednesday. And I'll post it sometime in the afternoon. I'd really like to go live at like 1:00. When I'm in my yard tomorrow.
Right.
I would really like to do that. So maybe I will just do that and see what happens. I don't know if you get notifications or not, but
yeah, I do for you. I'll be cutting grass, but I should be done by then.
Yeah, I got most of my mowing done this morning before I went out to the yard. So I got this.
I was
Huh?
going to cut it Thursday, but I'll be heading down to my brother's farm to get that swarm
Oh,
or
right, right.
swarms.
Swarms. The Amish. Those are the Amish swarms, right? Those are the
No,
Amish swarms. Oh,
yeah, these are the Amish. Yep, yep,
yep.
yeah. These are
Uh,
good queens.
Um. So this here's a funny story. It happened today. So I have this mentee that I got through Planet B Foundation, right? So we're out there, and she's been over here a handful of times already. And I use roller cages. You know what roller
Yeah,
cages
yeah. That's what I
like.
use for my queen cells, roller cages.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just have a bunch of them in my golf cart, and I plug up the one end with propolis wax, and then when I'm doing an inspection, and I come across the queen, I just pick her up and put her in that roller cage, put her in my pocket,
Yep,
and then I can do the rest of the inspection without worrying about where she's at, this, that, and the other. So
right.
I pick up this queen, and she's a green dot, fluorescent green dot on her back. So she's last year's queen. I put her in the cage, put her in my pocket. So we do the inspection, and we're talking this, that, and the other. And I said, "Oh, I gotta remember to put this queen back in." So I dumped the queen on the top of the frame. She's still like doesn't move, stiff as a board, right? And she says to me, "Oh no." And I'm like, "Oh no, don't worry." They do this. So now I go into this whole explaining on how they faint, and
Yep.
and they play possum. And as I'm talking to her, I'm looking at this queen with the green dot, thinking, that queen's dead. That's not a queen playing possum. So I dump the roller cage again. Guess what comes crawling out? A live queen with a fluorescent green on her back.
So
So
you had one in there from last year. You left in there.
yes, yes.
That's funny.
Or in May, I might have had her in May. I might have I mean March, I'm sorry, because I did
Oh,
some inspections when we had that flow from the maples in March. And I
right.
did come across I did come across a hive that had cap. Yeah, so I'm like so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, oh, you know, the
Well, it
luck, like
happens.
the luck of that happening. I mean, come on. But
Right.
so then like my mind started going, well, where did that queen come from? Right? Because so we did find a hive that was really small. It had some caproot in it, but nothing to speak of. No eggs, no larvae, just a handful of bees. And I'm thinking, is that the queen from that hive?
Good chance.
Such a dope. Oh man. But anyway, that's my shenanigan story for today. I'm sure I'll have more for tomorrow. But
Yeah. Well, yesterday I ended up pinching really three queens. One queen, um, she just wasn't. She just wasn't laying. I mean,
mm-hmm.
nothing. Another queen, I just she just wasn't performing good enough either. She had a few frames of brood, but nothing. By now there should be 6, 8 frames of brood.
Yeah.
I pinched her, and I had another one. I think she was a virgin. There was no brood in the box, and the bees were
Oh.
happy that they had a queen, but there was zero in there, and the hive was kind of small, really small. So I pinched her.
Oh.
Two mated
Oh.
queens and a virgin queen that never got mated, probably from last year.
Yeah, I came across a unmarked, unclipped queen in my colonies, and I don't have queen cells yet. So she must have overwintered. She must have overwintered in the hive, but already killed the queen, the other marked clipped queen that was in that colony as well. She took
Right.
her, and now she's laying. But Tiny Creek has a question. Oh, hi, Lee.
Let me see.
Lee's on. Tiny Creek has a question there, Tom.
Yeah, reading it.
I don't treat with Apicard, so I can't speak on that.
There's I I don't know. I disagree with that, Tiny Creek. I mean, yeah, there's some cocoon in that cell, but it's still all natural bee product from the larvae.
So it's not the point. Okay, so Tiny Creek here. It's not the point of the mite treatments. It's the fact that it's a brood frame, and you don't want to put brood frames in your honey supers. Yeah.
I don't have any. I don't. These are in my deeps,
Right.
so I'll move. I do. If you listen to my product,
Mm-hmm.
my brood swarm management last Tuesday, I go single brood management, and I will move brood up to the second box above the queen excluder cap brood to hatch out, and put comb frame inside. So those two boxes are brood boxes. Usually the first couple, 3 or 4 frames in the center are brood frames, and they do fill them up with honey, and I do extract them. But acrylic acid vapor, all my boxes get treated with vapor. If I'm treating vapor when there's supers on them, so I don't use I
Yeah.
don't I don't use anything but acrylic acid vapor on my treatment. Well, I do use an inert material, but that's another subject.
Depends who you're selling honey to, Tiny Creek. I mean, are you trying to get a clear, crisp, like spring honey, or, I mean, are you giving it away to family and friends? But yeah, you want to kind of keep your brood frame separate from your honey supers. They
Yeah, I
shouldn't.
do mostly.
I mean,
Well,
I'm sure people.
they're all from my honey supers. They're separate.
Yeah, people do it all the time, I'm sure. But I mean, if you can, like, so my brood boxes have black foundation, and my honey supers have white foundation.
Yeah, I got yellow in mine.
So then I
Yeah,
know, because you can't really find eggs in white foundation. So if I see the frames, I kind of know where they belong if I got disorganized along the way. Yeah,
right.
sting that like button.
Yeah, sting that like button.
So she says here,
Thanks,
why would
Wayne.
you
Hi,
not
Lee.
extract frames that they backfilled with honey? Oh,
Yeah, and
uh,
most of those center frames I leave for them for overwinter anyway. I might pull a couple of the outside frames, which are honey frames, and that's it out of that deep. Then I'll
yeah,
feed them the back feed the bottom chamber.
yeah,
So,
I've never had to extract a deep frame or a brood. I mean, some of my brood frames are mediums, but they're always brood frames. I would just move that to the outside wall, and then
yeah,
if you have a real problem with them backfilling with honey in the brood chamber, you have a queen issue.
yeah,
Something's going on with the queen that she's not up to par to laying, and they're backfilling with honey. So if you get honey bound, it's a queen issue of some sort, honey bound or pollen bound.
yeah,
Demery method is that's a brood box up top, and your brood boxes are separated by supers
yeah. I have
and
a queen excluder between my
queen
boxes.
excluders, two queen excluders. No, but Demery isn't a double. Doesn't have a screen board. It has Demery has queen excluders. So the center part, the queen can't get in there and lay in your supers that are between.
Right.
And there's no queen in the top. Ravenshire.
And you should
Ravenshire.
put two queen excluders between
Yes.
that empty
Yep.
box.
I don't know who Ravenshire Farms is. That's a
Man,
new
hold
one.
on, dude. I'm getting a Charlie horse.
Uh-oh. Eat some
Oh,
bananas.
I hate those things.
There was another new name in here that I didn't notice. I didn't recognize. Let's see if I can find Dean. Dean Godell. That who where are you from, Dean Godell
Yeah, Dean. He,
and Raven? Do you know Dean Tom?
no, I don't.
Where are you from, Dean? And Ravenshire. That's another new name to me.
Yeah,
I
Ravenshire.
don't
That's
know.
really a new name.
Yeah, where are you? What state are you in? Uh, what do you?
All right, I'll be right back.
Go ahead, Tom. I'll kind of keep watching here. We're located in Kyle Ford, Tennessee. Okay.
Thank you.
Bunny said he was from Ohio. Said he was from Ohio. So Ravenshire, are you hobbyist, backyard, or sideliner? When the brood is in the top deep emerges, they backfill with honey. Well, you're taking those. So Dodd, you're taking those empty frames from the top, and you're putting them back down in the bottom so she can lay in them. Don't leave them up there long enough to backfill. Sideliner. Oh, cool. Okay, Ravenshire. Okay, cool. Yeah. So a rolling demery is you're always taking the frames out of the top box when they emerge and putting them down below in the brood box below. It's a rolling, so that the frames are rolling from top to bottom, top to bottom. And you're going to do that every 7 days. Take out, I don't do demery. I have done it in the past. It's too much work for me. I'm not disciplined, and I don't need that much honey.
Okay.
Isles Ford, Tennessee. Did you go to Ravens? I don't know what do you want to be called, Ravenshire? Do you have a name? Did you go to the expo? Oh, I see. Bundy Dean said it was a beautiful day in Ohio. I gotcha.
Yeah, I think he mentioned it a couple weeks ago. He was middle of Ohio, or a little bit north.
No, not this year. What's your name, Raven?
Yeah, Raven.
So Charlie has an Excel sheet. He keeps names, locations, and all kinds of cool stuff. I try to keep up, but it's downstairs.
Yeah, I stretched out my hamstring on my replacement knee. Had my knee
Oh,
negative flat to negative flat, and
yeah.
hamstrings get tight on your knee, and it just went hamstring on me. It's like, damn,
Yeah.
that's what happens.
Yeah, I worked a couple Bill, okay, Ravenshire's Bill.
Bill, all right, Bill.
Charlie collects more data than Google. Oh, yeah, but you know what? He's Charlie's the first one that started calling everybody by name. He knew the
Right.
name, he knew your name, he knew where you were from. I mean, that's a genius little marketing move there for sure.
Hey, Brian. C. So yeah.
Waves.
So when you become a beekeeper and you don't want to expand your hives, you start learning to do different tricks.
Yeah.
And one of them is doing frame management, and another one is having new queens every year. Third one is what I did this year is take the queen and move her for 10 days and then move her back.
So wait.
That
Why'd you do that?
makes a big hive.
Why did you
That's
do
probably
that?
that's probably better than a Demery, because she's got that box that you took her from all laid up. Like I said, it had 10 frames. And in 10 days, she already had two more frames in the new hive that I put back over there.
So back up a second. Why do you pull her for the 10 days for a honey crop? Or
No,
why?
I do her so they think she swarmed and she's gone. And I break down all the cells, and then I put her back.
But that because they'll bring in more. Why do you do that?
Well, this hive was going to swarm on me. So she had 10, she already had the bottom box filled up, and she was already moved up in the top box before I had a queen excluder on her. And I took her, I said, she's going to swarm. I was kind of surprised they didn't have any swarm cells already, but they had already, I already had flying drones out of that box. So
I got you.
took her 2 frames of her open brood and moved her to another box in the yard.
So swarm management. You did it for swarm management.
I did it for swarm management, yes. And she was also my #1 grafting queen. Just happened to be the same queen. Yeah. So then I turned the bottom box off with all the brood in it into a cell builder. Because it had 8 frames. It had 8 frames of brood in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I took 2 frames out of it plus her 2 open frames. So I still had 4 or 5 frames of brood in it, plus all the bees. And it made a really good cell builder. And so I had to wait 6 days to make sure they didn't make any swarm cells, destroyed them. Then I grafted, and I had to wait another 6 days to wait for the cells to be capped to move them. So it was 12 days in this particular case. And then I put her back. I put them back together. Put her down in the bottom box. Put a queen excluder and left the rest of the brood up on top on her. But they was like down to 4 brood.
Yeah.
And I put 4 new combs in up there because I took a couple frames out. I took 4 frames out, so I had to put new 4 frames in.
So Ravenshire, Bill Ravenshire here says that there's a conference in August. Is that your club, Bill, or what's the information? We're always interested in what's going on, whether we can go or not. We're kind of always interested in what's moving and shaking in the bee world.
Yeah, where is it?
He said closer. No, there's one in August. Closer. I will probably closer than the expo to him in Tennessee. So Tennessee is like Pennsylvania. You know, it's like long. You can be on one end, and then 5 hours it's still in Tennessee on the other end. But he says he has a conference closer to him in August. But I was just curious to where and when and all that.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky, the North American honeybee can't be much closer than anything closer than that one for me.
Yeah.
Being just under a 2-hour drive. They'd have to be in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati doesn't have a big enough conference building. Expo.
Farms Apiary. With Spillman, is Spillman still on? How much did you extract today then? Or you were pulling something I saw?
Yeah, I haven't seen him on.
He was on way back. Spillman, hey Randy, I see him on here, but then I don't know what happened.
Well, Keith, yeah. He said I thought he was going to hold off because he said that the humidity was at 18%.
Whoa. Okay, so he's got to let him dry out a little bit.
Yeah. If he's still on there, he needs to build a drying room with a dehumidifier, pull that honey, put it in that room, do a dehumidifier, and he can drop it 2%.
Or just put him in a freezer. Freezer will drop it.
Or put him in a freezer.
That'll drop it quick too. So, all my belly aching, I've been going on all spring because the drought and this, that, and the other, and I lost a bunch of hives. And well, I was able to get out today, and I was able to, I pulled one split. I pulled a split completely, and then I was able to bounce up 2 other small colonies with colonies that were super full. I mean, 2 double deeps, and they've had probably six frames each box, like packed. So I was able to relieve a lot of congestion and spread things out and kind of start building my apiary back up just today, just in one day. So I'm happy. I know I've been belly aching for months here, but it's breaking today. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Man, I'm behind on messages. Wasn't scrolling for me.
Yeah, it's hard to do that all by yourself. But
Yeah.
I lost. See, I went in with 25. I went into winter, but and some of those, I think 5 or 6 of those were 5 frame, and I don't count the 5 frame. But I went in with 25 colonies, and then my lowest count now at the lowest was 11. So
Gotcha.
I lost 12. I lost over 50%.
I lost 40%. Not counting my few of my nukes I had. I didn't have all my nukes last year because my mating was so poor. It was
Yeah.
getting, and then I had to worry. I had to go to get my physical. I had to do all kinds of stuff for my knee. I don't know how many appointments I had. I fell behind.
Yeah, my 5 frame. None of my 5 frames made it this year.
Yeah, none of mine made it either.
They were not going to. They were not going to put on the weight. But so I have a lot of extra equipment out there.
So I got mine already built up some.
Tom, can you click on Ravenshire Farms? It says 10B Expo Friday. Can you see that one? Can you click on?
Yeah,
Can you highlight that?
got it.
There you go.
10B Expo, Friday, Saturday, August 8th. 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. and 8 to 5. Greenville,
Baptist Church.
Tennessee.
Towering.
Okay.
Huh. Wonder who's all going to tell us more about, like who's going to be on there, or who's going to be, how many vendors, who's going to be talking. Because that's a great time. I don't know, for me, August is a great time to go to a conference because I can't do crap up here. The bees don't need me, and they don't want me anywhere near them. It's too hot. There's nothing to do.
Yeah, August is about when I'll be finished treating them by August 8th. Yeah, I should be about finished treating by then. And I'm about ready to start feeding them.
August. Yeah, I don't do too much treatment. July and August, I don't do much of anything. I just let them be. I don't worry too much. I started my summer solstice queens, so they're getting settled in there.
Right.
They're, they've already had their two Formic Pro treatments. September I'll start.
Yeah. I haven't talked about how I kill mites. Maybe I'll do that next Tuesday. Because I don't use Formic Pro. I don't use any chemicals except acrylic acid after 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about it once. I talked about it once last year.
Well, yeah, we got to be careful when we talk about chemicals and organic, because I know someone was on here a couple weeks ago talking about how chemical this, chemical that, but they were talking about oxalic acid and like Formic Pro, and it's like it's all organics,
Yeah, all organic. Both of those are.
But yeah, so you want to use the right terminology as far as
Mine's an inert material.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not an acid. It's not a chemical. And well, everything's a chemical, but
Right. So Russell, 19 supers. Well, what you can do is, so I think my supers, I can get mediums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can get 6, and then I can get 7 or 8. I can get 2 more. I can get 8. I can get 8 in my freezer, 21 inch or 21 foot. And then I leave them in there for 7 days, and then they come out, and then the next ones go in. So you can make that work. And then if you take them out of the supers, you can get more in anyway. I found my freezer.
wow.
Julie Hood.
I didn't know Lee's area was getting so dry. It's been so wet in my area. In fact, I can't even cut all of my yard. It's so wet. Maybe actually tomorrow might be the first time.
I might want to go to that. So Julie Mahood is my new best girlfriend. I want to go. I'm going to look up here. I'm going to look up on the 10B. 10B Expo.
I'm checking it out. Buy tickets.
How far is that from you?
I don't know. I have to Google it. Maps.
Exports. It went to exports to Canada. Wait. We don't want that.
It is. It's a 5-hour drive for me.
It's saying it's in Canada.
That seems long. That's not even down to Nashville. That's Pigeon Forge. That's 4 hours.
I'm at the
Must be Iraq.
I'm going to put in Towering.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I'm going to put Towering Oaks.
And that's just across east of Nashville.
Church. Greenville. Oh, there. Yep, I found it. All right, directions.
So right now, that's a 5-hour drive. That's not too bad, borderline.
Oh, it's 9 hours for me.
Hey, Roy. Yeah, I'm a happy Tuesday retired Tom. Woo-hoo. So a 5-hour drive might be possible. Stay overnight. Drive back.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, what happened here? Somebody said something here. Nancy, the beekeeper. How much moisture will you lose in a week in the freezer? Well, so I run mine at -6. It's a new freezer, so it's calibrated to run at -6 for 7 days, and you'll get rid of everything you need to get rid of. Plus, all the critters will die out, and you'll have some nice honey. It'll be below. It'll be thick.
Hey, Brian.
Forge.
Flower Street.
Yeah. It's right above Pigeon Forge there. Just a little
Yeah.
bit shy of, I know where I'm at here. Huh. That's familiar. All right. Is Flower Street? Is Brian on here?
Yeah.
Brian. Brian, would you come in August? Would you come in August to an expo? You don't got nothing to do in August, do you?
I don't know if Brian's been to that one. I haven't.
It's right to the same
My
Yeah.
schedule, I didn't go to too many of them, but now I can. I still don't have my head straight yet. I can go to any of them.
Yeah. You keep forgetting.
Yeah.
You keep forgetting. All right.
I do want to
Um,
go to the one down south, whenever that one is.
which South? What South?
I don't know which one it is. The one that's all the Mr. Ed and Dirt Rooster Randy and they all go to one of them down there every year. Sometime during the winter time. I forget which it's called.
Huh. Huh. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah, so let me take that post off. Now,
Oh,
so
I ended
yeah,
up back. Oh, I'm back on. I think I'm off. Can you still hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
So I'm
Hey,
over on.
DC.
Somehow I got back over to YouTube. Looks
Oh,
like I'm on the YouTube side. All right. Well, not gonna push any more buttons.
we're still on StreamYard.
All right. Well, all right. I'm not gonna touch anything here, but yeah, I was thinking about that before. Like, man, it'd be nice if we could get some conferences in like July or August when you know.
Well, I'm still busy in July. Yeah, August is borderline. I might still be doing some queen rearing. Some years I have to do 2 or 3 just to get my queens in.
Yeah, but at that time of year, you can get away for 3 days. It's not like
Yeah,
it's not like
yeah.
in May and June and early
Well,
July.
I just scheduled around it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and usually by then I'll just leave. This will be the cell builder and finisher. I'll just leave them in.
Mhm. Hey, DC. DC slipped in too.
Yeah, I said hi DC before.
I didn't see him. Then Spillman.
Yeah, all the good gangs here.
Oh, hail, hail! The gang's all here.
Yeah,
Roy, Russells, Roys, Lees, Bundys. Don't forget about mine tomorrow night. I know I'm only on every other, so it gets hard to remember,
what
but
6:30?
30. Yep. And I might do a surprise at 1 o'clock. I might click on and see if I can get my phone to do a live in the hives.
Yeah, Russell asked me, Tom busy? Question mark. Yeah, I got more projects to do around this place than you can throw a stick at, or whatever that saying is.
Well, you got the rest of your life to do it, so
And I got to do it while I'm young.
yes. Yes, that's why you retire young so that you still have time to do all your shit.
Yeah,
Get all your stuff done. Oh,
yeah.
let's see. Now I got an email.
I think pretty soon, though, after this summer, it's going to be one project a day, 2 to 4 hour project, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I rest the rest of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, golf. Monday mornings I play golf, and then most Thursday mornings I golf. So that's
Mm.
2 days I'm already busy.
Yeah, I swim. I swim 5 days a week, 5 mornings a week. So,
Yeah,
but it's easy. I get out like it's for bees. It's an easy schedule because I'm home. Like I get home by 11. So it's an
right,
easy bee, because then by the time I have lunch, it's perfect time to go out and start messing with the bees. So it
right.
works. It works.
Yeah, Mondays I just play 9 holes. We usually tee off 8 to 8:30, so I'm done. I'm home before 11.
Mm-hmm.
Now on Thursdays when I play with my brothers, we play 18 holes, and usually it's 2 or 3 o'clock before I get home.
Mm.
Usually worn out by then.
What time is it? 9:15. Bob's not coming on.
Yeah, DC. I do have it figured out, my design. I just haven't bought. I have actually probably 40% of the materials. I still got to buy a few more posts. I got all the, and I got to buy the, I don't know what you call it, but goes across the, in front of the board when I go to bolt it onto the board inside my barn. For around all the ridges. I got to get that. So, yeah, I'm going to start working. I got one landscaping project I got to do. I'm going to probably do next week. Then probably about the middle of May, I should start that project. So, yeah. So I'll definitely get some video of that. That's one thing I want to do too. I did all this grafting, and I didn't do any video content of it. I was kind of disappointed. But the day I grafted, unfortunately, the day I was going to graft the next day was a nice day. The day I grafted, it only got up to 63 degrees.
Mm.
And during the nighttime, it got down to 35. So a lot of people won't graft when it's that cold, but I was 22 out of 22. And I did the grafting when it was 63 degrees out. That evening, it got down to 35 degrees, and it was not an issue whatsoever. It could snow. It could go down to 0 degrees, and it wouldn't be an issue. Because you got 14, I had 14 frames, 15 frames of bees in that 10-frame box. If anything, it was good that it was a cool night, so they wouldn't get too hot.
Yeah. Yeah, because they can overheat real quick.
Yeah. So usually all my cell builders are always in the shade. This one wasn't, but it was a nice, cool day. And the next day was a beautiful day. I think it got up to 72 degrees. I think that next morning it was like 45 degrees, so it worked out really nice. Then it got up to 80.
Tiny Creek's asking me what job. I was security at 3 Mile.
Okay.
So it was not a pleasant experience.
Yeah. I can tell you a little secret. I wasn't allowed to talk about it till about 5 years ago. But I guess about 16 years ago, there's a town about 2 hours east of Cincinnati that has centrifuge plants to make uranium, to make nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
And they were offline since sometime after World War II. Well, I reprogrammed them and got them up and running again 15 years ago to make really pure uranium.
Huh.
That was one of my jobs.
Did they do it?
Oh, yeah.
Were they making it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were making it. Yeah, I don't know how long they ran. I don't think they ran. I think they only ran a couple summers, a couple years. And things changed.
Yeah.
So, and then I did a job for Elon Musk. That was a top secret project with satellites at one time. with swarming of satellites and having, if one of them ever got taken down, another one become the master basically instantaneously. And if one got destroyed on the Earth, it would also switch automatically on the fly.
Huh. All right, I'm fading. I'm fading. It's 9:20.
Yeah,
So see
I'm only
what.
going to 10 today.
Oh,
Hopefully
I
Bob gets. Hopefully Bob gets on. Last week he was a no. I don't think he got on at all.
I don't think so either.
I never got a notification or anything.
You're gonna. Yeah. There's no way I can hang with you for another 40 minutes. I
Yeah,
do not
that's all
have.
right.
I don't have 40 minutes in me, but seems like there's some
Hey,
stuff going on.
Grayson.
Oh, hi, Grayson. Looks like there's some stuff going on over here that could keep you busy.
But I don't want to talk about work anymore. I'm done with that.
Nope.
In fact, I unsubscribed from a bunch of emails I keep getting on my phone that's work or companies that I used to buy equipment from. It's like I'm not involved anymore. Good night, Lee.
Okay. DC's building a chicken shack.
Yeah, he's building stuff all the time. He's got a nice setup with all his, or he uses canvas or some kind of material just
Mm.
to keep weather off his hives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw him once. Looked neat.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of having a roof above the hives. You know, trees have a roof above when they're in trees, and when
Yeah.
um, when Mr. Ed said that his hives overwinter for some reason so much better when they're underneath his shelters that he builds
Yeah.
versus the ones that aren't underneath their shelter. And I go, that's interesting.
I believe it. I believe it. I think that extra line of protection from like the northwest winds or whatever your situation is, if you
Or
could
the
give them that little extra protection from around the colony. I mean, I don't see how it could hurt them unless it's
right,
too tight or too hot or airflow. But I'm thinking of like a pavilion. A
right.
pavilion doesn't have
Now that's what he
sides,
builds,
and
like a
then you just
pavilion.
maybe one wall is a solid wall in that pavilion, and that would be your prevailing winds, and then the rest of the three sides are open. Like I
Right,
could see that being cement floor. I could see that definitely being something that I would be interested in doing, and I could do here. I really could. I could do it.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm doing a lean off my barn.
yeah.
You want to go 12 feet up and go about 10 feet out, which will be my bees are 8 feet out from the barn, just under 8 feet. So I'll put my post about right where the bee hives are. So I might lose a hive or the post be in between two hives or something like that. And
Mm,
then I'll have like a foot and a half overhang. That way, whenever it rains or anything, at least it won't be pounding on top of their lid. That has to be
yeah.
noisy.
Yeah. All right, kids. See you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow.
I'll let you know what time. All right. Night.
Night. Chicken coop under my stands. He puts a chicken coop. I use shingles. If you go to any roofer, um, they have tons of extra shingles that they don't have. And they'll give them to you for free. And I lay them down underneath my hives. And I go out 3 feet and 2 feet behind my hives on most of them. In fact, if you look at my background, you can see them right below the hives, kind of in the picture. And it keeps the weeds out. And when I mow, I don't have to go right up against them. I'm actually, 3 feet away from them, or 2.5 to 3 feet away. But I've never been stung mowing the grass. I got stung today, though, in the back of my head, somewhere back in here. Today, just walking through the yard, but I got quite a few hives right now where the queens have been pulled, and I'm banking them in another hive. So they're all getting replaced with virgin queens on Monday, the 28th. So I'm requeening right at the beginning of the flow, which isn't the best, but I need better queens. So I'll get the second half. I'll lose 2 weeks. Pulled the queens a couple days ago. Well, 6 days ahead of time. Sunday I'll check them for cells, and then on Monday I'll introduce the virgin queen. So I'll lose 6 days there, and I'll lose another 6-10 days after that. So a little over two and a half weeks. But the flow really hasn't started yet. It's going to start probably Monday. It's going to start next week. So I'm probably going to lose the first week of the flow on a bunch of my hives. But that's all right. At least I'll have bigger hives. And I'm going to combine a few hives just so I have bigger hives. Better, more quality hives versus a bunch of hives for honey production. Well, that's good, Roy. Yeah, my maple's already bloomed. The culinary pears bloomed already. My serviceberry bloomed already. The early magnolia trees bloomed. That was pretty good. It was a good year for that. They actually bloomed out. So, like I said, there's been a flow already, but not a big flow. Dandelions have been out, and they're actually they've got their flower heads up. So, yeah, I heard you, Lamar, that you're going into that's what Lee was saying, a pretty big drought. All the privets blooming and not putting out any nectar. That's how our goldenrod is every fall. We get a beautiful goldenrod, but we never get nectar from it, just pollen. It's always way too dry around my area. We get rain all the way up to about the 1st of August, and then the spigot turns off. In August and September, that's 6 weeks where they get no rain. And they start blooming about September. And nothing. It's like all we got to do is get one more rain in the middle of August or the end of, and it would be great. A good rain, and never happens. So, yeah. So I don't think I got anything else really new. Like I said, Sunday I got them selling another 7 more nukes. That's my last set. Those are some of the queens I'm replacing. So they're going to pick them up on Sunday, and I'll be putting the cells in. They're made up now. They got an empty. The 4th frame is right in the center is an empty comb frame for the queen to lay on. That gives me 4 to 5 days, so I shouldn't have to worry about them swarming. Plus the new queens anyway. By Sunday, I pulled them yesterday, so it'd be basically 6 days. So should be not a problem. And then I'll be going into full honey production after that. I want to catch probably about 3 or 4 more swarms just to get bee numbers in some of my honey hives. Like I said before, after about the 3rd day, I'll open the hive up, but I'll take 2 or 3 frames of bees from that hive and put them in my honey hives, not the queen, in my honey hives, and they're orient to that hive versus the swarm hive where the queen is. Do I have any Caucasian? Maybe, Roy. Let me put you up. Oops. Roy asked this question. GMB's George Anderson lives out on the east side of Cincinnati. He's a second generation beekeeper, and he started grafting a month ago for the people down south. And he runs quite a few. Actually, I've given him Caucasians a few years ago that I bought from another guy, and I forget who I bought them from. Shoot, it was 4 years ago. So I don't know if he's got full Caucasians, queens or not. I did the wrong one. Where did Roy's go? Here we go. Sorry about that. I'll send him a text message tomorrow and see if he says, and I'll let you know, Roy, next Tuesday, if that works. Just remind me and see if he does. I know he's into having all genetics in his queens, so he might not. I know right now I have some Carney Caucasians in mine, and actually the queen I'm grafting from is probably more Caucasian versus Carney, with her propolis and stuff like that she has in her hive. In fact, I had to clean my hands twice today just touching that hive, getting propolis all over me. So I can't, mine aren't pure, but I got pretty good Caucasian genetics. Probably, like I said, more than Carney. That's my favorite bee is Carney Caucasian mixed queen. And like DC, they do a ton of propolis. Every frame will have 2 rows on the outside going down it. Every pocket in between every frame will have enough to cover up the tabs of the frame. It's crazy how much propolis they build. But they're gentle bees. Caucasians have a tendency that they're not swarmers, where Carnies are a little bit more swarmers. So you might be more average versus swarming. And they're gentle bees. They're good bees. They just propolis everything. And I don't mind propolis. I mean, I don't scrape it too much. I don't scrape. Like people, I've heard people say when you run 2 deeps, in between deeps, you got all that burr comb. Well, that ain't burr comb. Those are ladders. Those are ladders that the bees are building to go from the bottom frame up to the top frame. So I leave them. Now, in fact, sometimes on bottom boards, you'll see the same thing. You see a little bump on the bottom boards, but they're ladders for them to go from the bottom up to the frame. Oh, okay. Yeah, propolis. Yeah, I make tanager for my propolis I get from them. In fact, I got 2 jars I got to filter out next week or soon. They're ready. 2 mason jars to make the tanager. Another little thing that I do on the side. Like I said, I'm always busy. Yeah. So somebody else want to hop on here? It'd be great. Hey, Bruce. Yeah, little. Yeah. Oh, little bits of honey. The skinny bee man. Can't think of his first name. In fact, that's where I got my queen from. He's an hour and a half west of me in Indiana. Shoot, what little town? He had some pretty bad cancer, but I think he's still going. You can check them out. What's his first name? Little Bits of Honey. Yeah, he's probably, if he does have queens, he's probably sold out already. He sells out by the end of January. He sells a lot of queens. George, he probably does 500 queens a week. A lot. And he does artificial insemination. In fact, I'm partners with him doing that. Get some breeder queens from him. I didn't ask for many last year, and I don't think I need to get any from him this year because I got pretty much the line I'm looking for on my hot queens. So I hope that answers your question. Now I got to find it. So yeah, Little Bits of Honey. Not Randy. Jason? Oh shoot. Getting old, I hate that. Lose my memory. Joe, that's it. Joe May. Thanks, Bruce. In fact, it was like 4 years ago when I got Caucasians from him, and I had carnies. So, plus whatever the Amish swarms are. That's my third variable in my mutts. They're darker bees, so I don't know what they are. They might have some Italian in them, but I think they're carnies. So, yeah, I had Russian bees at one time. I got those from West Virginia. Jason Greggs. I think he changed his name, his website, and bought a few queens from him, and then grafted from them. But they didn't. I don't know. Eventually they died off on me. The Russians did. They're supposed to be good for overwintering, but I don't know. I didn't have a problem with them being aggressive. The only thing I noticed with them, and I mentioned this past, when I popped the lid off, there'd be a dozen of them or two dozen that would fly up, hover around the area above it, then they fly back in, and then they're fine. But that first little bit, if you aggravate them a little bit, they don't like it. So I just crack the lid. I step back a foot or stand there. I wait for them to land, and then I start working up pulling frames. They just don't like that first little snap of the frame cover coming off at the beginning. Man, my leg still wants to do Charlie horses. Need to get a couple glasses of water. Yeah, so I'm trying to catch up. Zoo swarms. Yeah, actually, Brian, last year I caught a zoo swarm from the zoo. Actually, this zoo asked me to be their beekeeper last fall, because the lady that was doing it, she had some health issues, and I had to tell them no. If it would have been this year, I would have. And I don't know who they got to take care of their hives. So I almost became the Cincinnati Zoo beekeeper, but didn't happen. Somebody else did. That's all right, Roy. Maybe next Tuesday you can jump on. But yeah, and the good neighbor that lives pretty close to him, I didn't put a trap in their yard this year. It's a little bit of a drive. And I have to drive on I-75, and I hate driving I-75. It's crowded. No matter, even probably on Easter, if you drove it, it's probably crowded. It's full of semis, and I stopped putting traps in their yard. But my favorite is my brother's place and catch all those Amish no treat hives. Get those genetics. I mix those in with my Caucasian carnies. So I don't like doing every one of my hives. I like to have a mixture because I really believe that the more genetics the queen can have, your bees can have, the better chance you have on mites. And every one of my hives have a drone frame in it, a combed drone frame in it. Either it's a story frame that Brad does up in Canada. It's one of those green comb frames, or it's one of those starter strip frames that they made drone comb in. Because I want my queens, when they get mated, to mate it with 30 drones, 40 drones, 20 at the minimum, but 30 plus is what I'm looking for. So I'm flooding my area with as many drones as possible. And when I do my classes every year, I talk about having lots of drones and having a drone frame. So hopefully all these newer beekeepers, after a few years, are flooding their area around my area with drones. There's been studies on that. Send them to a cheap hotel, yeah. Hey, Clay's on here. Hey, Clay, how you doing? Man, that would be a hoot if he ever would hop on. We'd have a fun time joking around. That's what we did at Nobby. That was a good time. So, yeah. I'm going to wax dip for my third and last time. I made 4 more new telescoping lids. Since I got all my hives separated now, which you can see by 6 to 8 inches, basically a nuke. I'm going back to telescoping hives versus any other hives. I got some that are just flat boards, some that are just have it on the sides. Just because it seems like lately we get windier and windier. Every year we're getting 30, 40, 50 mile per hour winds with these storms, and spring storms now getting up to 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. And seems like those telescoping frames with just one brick sitting on them don't come off. But the other ones might slide off. So I built a few of them from some old furniture wood that I got for free. So I want to wax dip boil them. I'll probably do that sometime next week too. Like I said, I might be retired, but I'm still busy. But I get to do all this fun stuff and do it on my time versus I have to do it today. I design my benches, yeah. Hey, that's awesome that you're getting up to 4 boxes. One more. You might want to think about putting a comb frame or a honey frame down in the middle of the brood just to make sure the queen's got something, got a frame or two to feed on. Putting a honey frame down in the middle of their brood frame it's a good little trick to buy a couple weeks where they won't swarm, because it'll take them a day for them to clean that frame up, move all that honey somewhere else, and then have that frame all ready to lay brood in. So lay to start laying in. So it's a brood honey frame. It's perfect. You don't run excluders. Yeah, but good queens will stay within 2 boxes. I mean, most good queens will stay down in the bottom box. If I get a queen that goes up want to go up in the 3rd box, that queen won't be around anymore. Because in 6 to 7 days, there's always a frame that is empty, even if they're laying at 2,000 eggs versus 1,500, 1,800. So, yeah, breaking up the brood chamber a little bit. And if you got a honey frame, don't do a pollen frame, because they can't move pollen. But honey, they'll move it in a heartbeat. They move honey all the time. It keeps them busy, so they don't want to swarm, because they're not thinking about swarming. They're thinking about getting the frame cleaned up for the queen, and it keeps the queen busy. It's a win-win. Keep the biz busy, keep the bees busy doing other things, keep the queen laying, and you reduce the odds of swarming. But there are queens that have genetics where they swarm. They're swarming queens. And that happens. So those queens don't make it either. That's one thing bad catching swarms, because that queen's got swarm genetics in it because it swarmed. We'll catch on words. But yeah, it doesn't look like Bob's getting on again. I don't see anything from him. I'm going to end this at 10 o'clock. I think 2 hours is plenty long. Plus, I'm running out of things to talk about. Talk about any more secret projects. I did rockets for NASA. That wasn't top secret. Shooting off rockets. Doing that program. Some of that program with other people. Hey, Tiny Creek, every one of these hives in my background are single brood management. And I got 5 more on the back side of the hive. That's my 21 honey production hives. I have 2 more over on the left side of me one's an Apamay hive that I don't have a queen excluder in there. And I have another hive there that I don't do any queen excluder with it. They're honey/resource hives. But they're going to be turning into production hives. Probably next year, maybe this year, but mostly next year. So I'll have 23 single brood management hives. Then I run 7 resource hives that I don't put any queen excluder. I mean, 4 of them are 24 frame hives, and other 3 are 33 frame hives. Those are my resource hives. And then I run 12 6/6 12 frame hives, and those are my nuke hives that I overwinter in and sell nukes off of. I don't touch my other hives, maybe my resource hive, but not my production hives. And I'm selling my nukes most years. This year I am, because I lost my nukes. So I'm selling some of my production hives, 7 of them. But my plan is typically right around 1st of April. I usually can graft them most springs the first week of April. This year was the 3rd week of April, 2nd week, 16th, so middle of April. And I'll sell my that first weekend I'll graft, that first couple days, April Fool's Day, the second I'll graft, the first 3 days I'll graft. And then that weekend after, or the weekend after that, I'll sell those nukes with that overwintered queen. And then my graft, I'll put new virgin queens in those 12. Plus I have 2 3-way boxes that I also would put cells in, and take them from those 12, make two frames or 3-frame splits. That way I have backup queens just in case some of the queens don't get mated. And I'll sell those 12 nukes, and that'll give me basically 24 nukes, or 20 to 24 per year. Then I'll do it one more time with those same 12, graft again when I go to sell ahead of time before I go to sell those at the first week of May, and then the end of May I'll sell maybe 6 more. So I sell about 30 nukes. That's my game plan every year. And this way I won't be touching any of my honey hives, and maybe a couple brood frames and resource frames, but not much. So I'm getting to a point where I've been trying now the last 3 years to become a new treat, or at least just a silic acid vapor treat. And I think by next year I'll be there. Just the silic acid. I think I'll have the right genetics of queens in my apiary. But that's my game plan for this year. So somewhere around the first weekend in June to the second week of June, I'll be doing probably a 40 cell graft and get maybe 30 mated queens out of the 40 to replace all my production hives and do those 12 nukes. So I'll need 50 queens. So I'll probably do a 40 and then follow that up with another 20 or 30, depending how many of the 40 I got the first graft out of the same cell builder. And that should give me enough. That should give me 2 grafts. So my second graft will be the second week of June, and my last graft will be around the end of June. And then I'll be done grafting. And I'll have replaced queens on all my honey production hives and my nuke hives. My resource hives, if I have extra queens, I'll replace those also, but that's only if I got extra. And if I run short, I'll steal a resource hive and let them make their own queen. And if they're successful, they overwinter. That's fine. If they don't, I'll just let it be. Take care of them the next year, following year. So that's what I'll be doing every year. I won't be getting any bigger or any smaller from my property. And then I have a second property, and I run 3 to 5 hives, 3 8-framers and 2 10-framers. Those are the ones that got killed by the stearine leak last summer. And those are actually my first, after I get my hives all built up with a few swarms, all the next swarms will be going over there, 5 of them. So see how many I catch, see how many I get. So that's my game plan. And I think it's going to be a new show, Bob, again. How many people left on here? 31 watching. Okay, I was up in the 40s at one time. So not too bad. So, does anybody got any subjects they want to talk about? Last week we got a little bit into race cars at the very end. Drag racing days. When I was young. 50 years ago. 45 years ago. Ooh, that's a long time. Yeah, Tiny Creek. I got these 3 8-frames oh gosh, 6 years ago from a friend, a lady friend. In fact, one's peach color, one's yellow, and one's purple. And she had a fourth one blue, but it was all rotten. I got a couple um, um, medium supers off of it, and they're all 8 frames. So I've had to rebuild a couple boxes. I had to make a box. One box got rotten. I've had to repaint them, so I got different shades of purple on one of them. And I got 3/8 just for that reason, but I keep them over there in the second yard. And I don't bring any of it home. If I have any extra boxes, all my equipment I leave out there, I just stack it on the stand and build it up in a separate pile and put a lid on it. I do have 4 lids, so 3 hives, and then I put a lid over top it to protect it, even during the winter time. So I don't want to be bringing home any 8-frame stuff with all my 10 frames in my yard. So I use nothing but corrugated nukes when I go to sell my bees. Tiny Creek, all those easy nukes. Most of them have a little circle oval cutout, pop out in the top of the lid, where you can put a Pepsi or Coke bottle into them with a small plastic. Yeah, the Jester nukes have a feeder hole right in the middle that you can pop out and put a one of those 6 ounces, 10 ounces Coke bottles, Pepsi bottles to feed them. So I know there's another company I'm making them similar to those Jester Nukes box. I don't know about those. I saw them at Navi this year. Actually, I liked them a little bit better. Frame where the frames hung on a little bit better. They had more vent holes in them. I talked to them about water getting in from the lids, how you make the lids. So they didn't have a solution from that, but they took my advice to do something different that water won't get into the hive, doesn't get into the hive, gets into the corrugated plastic. I have some Pro Nukes. I don't use them anymore. There's too much room on the side, and if your bees get held up for more than a week nuke before they go get picked up by the customer, they start making comb on the 2 sides all over in that box. It's just too sloppy of an area. Transporting bees, that's all it's good for, but I like to pull my nukes about 5 days before I sell them, before the pickup, and I'll put that empty comb frame right in the center and have that queen fill that frame up. So I'll pull 2.5 to 3 frames of brood, 1.5 frames of 1 frame of food, especially if it's a pollen honey frame. And then when they get it, they're going to have 3+ frames of brood, almost 4 frames. Because she'll have that laid up in 5 days, 4 to 5 days. But if I put them in a Pro Nuke and they don't pick up on that 5th day and it's 7th day, she ran out of room, they'll start making comb on the sides and start for her to lay in. And that's a problem. That's a mess. So I go with the Jester Nukes, pretty much 100% now. And I like the other company. I don't know the name of the company that's selling something very similar. They had a little bit tighter tolerances for the frames in the box, and had more vent holes. I don't know about the feeder though. I don't remember checking that out when I was checking out their nukes. Well, guess what? It's 10 o'clock. And let me check my phone. I do have an email as I noticed. No. So no Bob noticed. $10. I'm checking YouTube. Nope, I don't see him popping up. Let me go to his channel. Nope, 2 days ago he did a little thing, but I missed it. So no, he does not have anything scheduled either, that I can see. So I think I'm going to call it a night. So everybody, have a great, good night. Have a good week. And I'll see you on the other chats. If not, I'll see you next Tuesday. Shoot me. My email is Maccabees. So Maccabees@maccabees.com. If what subject you want to talk about. So night, Clay, Grayson, DC, everybody. Everybody have a great day, and God bless everybody. I'm going to end it right now. Night.